The only person more fascist than the Biden regime now is Nikki Haley, who thinks the government should identify every one of those individuals with an ID. That is not freedom, that is fascism, and she should come nowhere near the levers of power, let alone the White House. First of all, Christie also doesn't know what provinces in eastern Ukraine he actually wants us to fight for. Chris, your version of foreign policy experience was closing a bridge from New Jersey to New York. Yeah. So do everybody a favor, just walk yourself off that stage, enjoy a nice meal, and get the hell out of this race. She said that I have a woman problem. Nikki, I don't have a woman problem. You have a corruption problem. And I think that that's what people need to know. Nikki is corrupt. This is a woman who will send your kids to die so she can buy a bigger house.
Man, that debate was freaking insane. They went too hard again. Like, Nikki Haley got freaking obliterated. She got obliterated, destroyed. She got freaking THANOS snapped so hard it made me mess up my dang intro. What is good, YouTube family? It's your boy Rashad with the Black Anomaly Rising channel. Man, listen. Vivek been collecting them Infinity Stones because he freaking destroyed Nikki Haley again. Okay? He obliterated. He took and Thanos snapped Nikki Haley out of existence. Okay? She is no longer a factor. She has been deleted from the Republican Party. Okay? She's been deleted from existence, period. So she's turned to dust. She gone at this point. Because in this debate, I'm going to make this kind of like somewhat of a highlight reel because I saw this and I saw the whole thing live as it was happening. And everything that was happening in it was just insane. Like, Vivek, of course, was throwing jabs at pretty much everybody. He kind of left DeSantis alone this time. I don't remember if he actually threw any jabs at DeSantis this debate. But he kept hitting Nikki Haley like hard. Like he was coming for her, and DeSantis was too. He specifically called out Nikki Haley over and over and over and over again. Like, I think DeSantis actually might have initiated attacks against Nikki Haley more. It's just that Vivek did not freaking hold back. He was brutal in his attacks. And then you got Christie over here trying to simp for Nikki Haley. I'm like, bro, she's married, big dog. And besides that, I don't really think she's your type. But without further ado, let me just get into a couple of the highlights toward the beginning. Take a look.
Nikki, you were bankrupt when you left the UN. After you left the UN, you became a military contractor. You actually started joining service on the board of Boeing, whose back you scratched for a very long time, and then gave foreign multinational speeches like Hillary Clinton is, and now you're a multimillionaire. That math does not add up. It adds up to the fact that you are corrupt. The CEO of BlackRock, the most powerful company in the world, now supporting Nikki Haley. And to say that doesn't affect her is false, because it's after that meeting later that day that she says that every American needs to be doxxed by having their ID, their government-issued ID, tied to what they say on the internet.
The next president of the United States needs to be able to go to that office on day one and end ESG. And the fact of the matter is, we know from her history, Nikki will cave to those big donors when it counts. And that is not acceptable.
I did write that book, Ron, and the irony is Nikki Haley was heaping praise on me when I wrote that book, but now I worry. I was warning about the woke industrial complex in this country as a warning. Apparently, she read it as a how-to manual, just like she reads George Orwell's books. The only person more fascist than the Biden regime now is Nikki Haley, who thinks the government should identify every one of those individuals with an ID. That is not freedom, that is fascism, and she should come nowhere near the levers of power, let alone the White House.
I never said government should go and require anyone's name.
That's false.
She said, I want your name.
She
as President of the United States, her first day in office, she said, one of the first things I'm going to do,
I said we were going to get the millions
I want your
of
name.
bots.
She wants government ID to dox every American.
That's what she said. You can roll the tape. She said, I want your name. And that was going to be one of the first things she did in office. And then she got real serious blowback, and understandably so, because it'd be a massive expansion of government, especially given how conservatives have been attacked and they've lost jobs and they've been canceled. You know the regime would use that to weaponize that against our own people.
Okay,
it was a bad idea, and she should own up to it.
Mr. Ramaswamy, You have said it was irresponsible for Ambassador Haley to call Hamas's terrorist rampage an attack on America and for her to, quote, rabidly shout, "Finish them," end quote. The Hamas terror attack left dozens of Americans dead and was the deadliest attack on Jews since the Holocaust. Why wouldn't it be a good thing to finish Hamas?
Finish them was purposefully vague in a discussion that included Iran, which is what I objected to. And I think it's, as U.S. president, you have to be responsible. What happened to Israel was dead wrong. What Hamas did was medieval. It was subhuman. It was immoral. And we have to call that out for what it is on October 7th. But to say that that was an attack on America fails a basic test. I mean, Nick, if you can't tell the difference between where Israel is and the U.S. is on a map, I can have my 3-year-old son show you the difference.
As you can see, Vivek Ramaswamy, man, he did not hold back. He said, Nikki Haley, I can get my 3-year-old son to help you out with a little bit of geography since you obviously are challenged. It's, the fact that he even went there is just insane. Like, you gotta love the man. Like, some people don't like Vivek. They feel like he talks too much and he's like a little too snooty in some of his answers, but I love it. We need somebody with some balls. I'm tired of all of this weak stuff. That's why they're losing. That's why, like, in my opinion, Republicans are losing. Like, Democrats are, I don't know how the hell they managed to win with Joe Biden. Like, that's a whole nother story. But the Republicans, if the Republicans are ever gonna make any headway, especially right now when a lot of the momentum at least was on heavily on the Democrat side, you gotta start hitting below the belt a little bit. Even against some of your own foes. Nikki Haley, he called her out on her ties to Boeing and the military-industrial complex and her not knowing nothing about Ukraine. Like, he hit her really, really hard on that, like, repeatedly without letting up.
And I think those with foreign policy experience, one thing that Joe Biden and Nikki Haley have in common is that neither of them could even state for you 3 provinces in eastern Ukraine that they want to send our troops to actually fight for. Look at that. This is what I want people to understand. These people have, I mean, she has no idea what the hell the names of those provinces are, but she wants to send our sons and daughters and our troops and our military equipment to go fight it. So reject this myth that they've been selling you, that somebody had a cup of coffee stint at the UN and then makes $8 million after, has real foreign policy experience. It takes an outsider to see this through. Look at the blank expression. She doesn't know the names of the provinces that she wants to actually fight for. And there's her puppet masters right there, the donors right there that are playing her like the puppet master.
And like I said, Vivek didn't really come for DeSantis specifically anytime during the debate, but he did at one point kind of hit on everybody, like, equally, Christie, DeSantis, and Nikki Haley, on how they kind of supported Trump, and then they kind of turned against him, and now they're kind of fence-sitting.
Here's my issue with all 3 of my other colleagues on this debate stage, is all 3 of them have been licking Donald Trump's boots for years for money and endorsements. Ron DeSantis, you've been a great governor, but you would have never been one without actually begging Donald Trump for that endorsement.
And you attacked him in your book a year ago.
Same thing with Christie as a lobbyist, begging them for COVID money for his special interests in New Jersey, prepping him for the debates last time around. These people are now Monday morning quarterbacking some decision he made. I think the real enemy is not Donald Trump. It's not even Joe Biden. It is the deep state that at least Donald Trump attempted to take on. And if you want somebody who's going to speak truth to power, then vote for somebody who's going to speak the truth to you. Why am I the only person on the stage, at least, who can say that January 6th now does look like it was an inside job? That the government lied to us for 20 years about Saudi Arabia's involvement in 9/11? That the Great Replacement theory is not some grand right-wing conspiracy theory, but a basic statement of the Democratic Party's platform? That the 2020 election was indeed stolen by big tech, that the 2016 election, the one that Trump won for sure, was also one that was stolen from him by the national security establishment that actually put up the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that they knew was false. There's a reason why I'm the only person on the stage who can say these things. That's what it's going to take, not people who were licking his boots one time and now Monday morning quarterbacking him and criticizing him when it's convenient.
And an issue that I'm kind of surprised that Nikki Haley didn't do good on in this debate, she got slaughtered this whole debate. I don't think she looked good on at any point in the debate. The only thing that might have happened is because she got attacked so much, like Christie in his simping ways, he tried to like save her and act like, oh, you guys are just trying to bully you know, this wonderful, accomplished woman up here. I'm like, shut the hell up, Christie.
Hold on. Let me just say something here. You know, his reasonable peace deal in Ukraine, he made it clear. Give them all the land they've already stolen, promise Putin you'll never put Ukraine in Russia, and then trust Putin not to have a relationship with China. Let me tell you something. That's no
That's
reasonable.
not my deal. That's not my deal,
yes,
Chris.
it's exactly what you
I'll
said.
describe
You
my
do
deal
this
to
at
you.
every debate.
I'll tell you exactly what it
no,
is.
don't interrupt
tell
me.
you
I
what the
didn't
deal is.
interrupt you. Okay? You
Tell
say
them
this.
about how you want to
do
send our
this.
kids to die.
You
Go
do
for
this
it.
at every debate. You go out on the stump and you say something. All of us see it on video. We confront you on the debate stage. You say you didn't say it, and then you back away. And I want to
I'll
say
tell you
one.
exactly
no,
what I said, Chris.
I'm not done yet.
Well, this
now
is
look.
this is
And here's
nonsense. This man is spewing. This man is spewing nonsense.
Let me tell you something. This is the fourth debate that you would be voted in the first 20 minutes as the most obnoxious blowhard in America. So shut up for a little while.
I'm gonna respond to that.
I want to
Chris,
say
your
something.
version of
We're going to let you respond to that. We're going to let you respond to
I'll
that.
take
Let him
that.
finish.
I want to say something else. We're now 25 minutes into this debate, and he has insulted Nikki Haley's basic intelligence, not her positions, her basic intelligence. She doesn't know regions. She wouldn't be able to find something on a map that his 3-year-old could find. Look, if you want to disagree on issues, that's fine. And Nikki and I disagree on some issues. But I'll tell you this, I've known her for 12 years, which is longer than he's even started to vote in a Republican primary. And while we disagree about some issues and we disagree about who should be president of the United States, what we don't disagree on is this is a smart, accomplished woman, and you should stop insulting
So
her.
I'm going to take several times over. So first of all, I think we just learned something from Christie. We learned three things.
Go ahead.
learned three things right there. First of all, Christie also doesn't know what provinces in eastern Ukraine he actually wants us to fight for. Chris, your version of foreign policy experience was closing a bridge from New Jersey to New York.
Yeah.
So do everybody a favor, just walk yourself off that stage, enjoy a nice meal, and get the hell out of this race.
let me tell you.
When it comes to Nikki, I think if you're going to actually send your sons and daughters to go die in somebody else's war,
Hold on.
While you
better,
weren't
excuse
voting,
me, Chris, I'm speaking, and I'm not done yet.
I haven't
you had
heard
your
the
chance,
time when you aren't
and we're going to be
speaking.
done. So listen up to this, is if these people want to send your sons and daughters to go die in Ukraine, they've been arguing for it for a year. $200 billion of our taxpayer money sent over. Neither of them could even name for you the provinces that they actually want to protect. And this is the people who have been touting their so-called foreign policy experience. It is intellectual fraud. These people are lying to you, the same people who told you about weapons and mass destruction in Iraq. To justify that invasion, didn't know the first thing about it, yet they sent thousands of our sons and daughters to go die. The same people who told you the same in Afghanistan, where the Taliban is still in charge 20 years later. $7 trillion of our national debt due to these toxic neocons. You can put lipstick on a Dick Cheney, it is still a fascist neocon.
Thank
and
you,
you gotta
Mr.
see that
Ramaswamy.
today.
Thank you,
It's
Mr.
Dick Cheney
Ramaswamy.
all over again in this party.
Thank you.
If it was just some regular dude up there getting bullied, was Nikki Haley getting bullied? Yes. But if it was some other dude up there getting bullied, you think anybody would be, oh, I feel sorry for you up here bullying this poor guy? No. We're talking about the leader of America. We don't got time for games. In play time, we got the kid gloves on. Okay? The only glove we're going to put on is the gauntlet, the infinity gauntlet, so we can snap people out of existence, get them out of our way. Okay? We're trying to get this dub so we can see who's going to be the damn next president of the United States in 2028, because 2024 is going to be Donald Trump. Okay? But they were hitting so hard, it was just insane. At one point, Vivek had to bust out the notepad. He said, Nikki equals corrupt.
I question her authenticity, and I think that's deeper here. We were just talking about the trans issue. This is a symptom of a deeper cancer in American life. Identity politics. This new religion that says your race, your gender, and your sexuality are your identity. It is anti-American. It is meritocratic, it's anti-meritocratic, and it is dividing this country to a breaking point. And I've spoken about this to the left. My books are all about this. I've preached this to the left, but it's even worse when Republicans try to play the same game. We're talking about that trans issue. And Nikki Haley's campaign launch video sounded like a woke Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light ad talking about how she would kick in heels. At the first debate, she said that only a woman can get this job done. That's what she said. After the third debate, when I criticized Ronna McDaniel after 5 failed years of leadership of this party, and criticized Nikki for her corrupt foreign dealings as a military contractor, she said that I have a woman problem. Nikki, I don't have a woman problem. You have a corruption problem. And I think that that's what people need to know. Nikki is corrupt. This is a woman who will send your kids to die so she can buy a bigger house. This is the problem. Using identity politics more effectively than Kamala Harris is a form of intellectual fraud. And it actually needs to end. There's our donor puppet masters wielding their puppet right up here tonight. This is how this game is played. The puppet masters put up their puppet, and I reject the use of identity politics in this party. It has been a cancer coming from the left, and I'm sick and tired of the double standards the people of this country are too. Having 2 X chromosomes does not immunize you from criticism.
I died when I saw this. I was like, no, Vivek will stop at nothing to win this presidency. And he still managed to do all of this within the confines of still being, in my opinion, moral and ethical. Because when I say stop at nothing, I don't mean that he's going and assassinating people and paying people off and stuff like that. He's just taking heavy jabs. Heavy jabs that's fair, because I 100% believe that Nikki Haley is corrupt. I just did a video about Stephen A. Smith talking about he would support Nikki Haley. And I'm like, what about all of this ties to the military-industrial complex and mysterious come up in wealth that she got? And now all of a sudden she's just a huge Ukraine and freaking Israel war supporter. Like a warmonger, bloodthirsty. Nikki Haley can't be trusted. Now, in fairness, I don't support Christie either, because, I mean, this dude just seems like he's just got this ridiculous hate boner for Donald Trump that I do not understand. This dude might low-key be a Democrat, or maybe he's more libertarian, because, I don't know, he's just weird. Libertarian is like no government type, like anarcho-capitalist type. Christie is like, kind of like that.
How is it that you think a parent should be able to okay these surgeries, never mind the sterilization of a child? And aren't you way too out of step on this issue to be the Republican nominee?
No, I'm not. Because Republicans believe in less government, not more. In less involvement with government, not more in government involvement in people's lives. And we're going to put my children's health and my decisions in their hands for them to make those decisions, for Joe Biden to make those decisions, for me and for my wife. Let me just say this. This is not something I favor. I think it's a very, very dangerous thing to do. But that's my opinion as a parent, Megan. And I get to make the decisions about my children, not anybody else. And every parent out there who's watching tonight, you start to turn over just a little bit of this authority, the authority they're going to take from you next, you're not going to like. But the minute you start to take those rights away from parents, you don't know that slippery slope, what rights are going to be taken away next, and what's going to be imposed on you.
As a parent, you do not have the right to abuse your kids. This is cutting off their genitals. This is mutilating these minors. These are irreversible procedures, and this is something that other countries in Europe, like Sweden, once they started doing it, they saw it did incalculable damage. They've shut it down. I signed legislation in Florida banning the mutilation of minors because it is wrong. We cannot allow this to happen in this country. And I know Chris disagrees with me, and I think he has an honest position. Nikki disagrees with me. She opposes the bill that we did to ban that. She said law shouldn't get involved with it.
When he was running for governor and they asked him about that, he said he didn't think bathroom bills were a good use of his time. You can go look that up.
I signed a bathroom bill in Florida, so
But
that's obviously not true.
Because conservatives, in my opinion, isn't like no government at all. It is less government than Democrat, but it's not no government. Conservatives want government to do what they want it to do. So it's not about no government. It's just less government, and government does what conservatives want it to do, right? So this dude shouldn't even made it here. I can't believe we got Christie instead of somebody like Larry Elder. Like, we need somebody who actually knows what the hell they're talking about, actually want to move the needle forward. Christie was literally, he got freaking slaughtered by Vivek talking about he need to go somewhere, sit down, and have a nice meal and get the hell out of the race. I actually think that was the most brutal line. Christie wasn't attacked a lot during this debate, but when he was, he got murked. This was awful, man. I don't know what was the best debate. I don't know. It's hard to say. I feel like that last one was really good for Vivek. I feel like the best debate for Vivek was the third debate. The best debate overall in terms of like just carnage, if you want to classify it like that, I feel like it was probably this one because even Ron DeSantis kind of had a lot to, he shined a lot. And I think it's a lot closer between DeSantis and Vivek. If you're going for like who had the greatest quips, Vivek basically won every debate if you're going based off of that, including this one, okay, by far. If you're going based off of actual record and a combination of being able to outwit the other candidates in the talking points and record, Ron DeSantis wins because he's kind of got the advantage from the beginning over somebody like Vivek. Christie is irrelevant in my opinion. He didn't talk about anything except how bad Donald Trump was for the most part and how we spent several minutes talking about XYZ and we haven't gotten anywhere.
You endorsed Donald Trump in 2016 and 2020. You gave him an A for his first term. Since then, however, you've turned on him, calling him a liar, a loser, a con man, and someone who cannot win. You've even said that you got into this race just to stop President Trump. His approval rating with Republicans is currently at 81%. Yours is at 25. Your best state is New Hampshire, and even there, 2/3 of GOP voters say they would be angry and disappointed if you won. Respectfully, Governor, you have not stopped Mr. Trump, and voters may wonder how you could possibly become the nominee of a party that does not appear to like you very much.
This is the problem with the first three debates. Ron gets asked a question, and he doesn't answer it. Your question was very specific. You said, would you send American troops as commander-in-chief? And he went on to this minute and 30-second hosanna about his knowledge of the military and what we need to do, and didn't answer your question. Look, when you're president of the United States, you're not going to have a choice whether to answer that question or not.
I'm like, well, look at what the hell you're doing. Who the hell cares how many minutes it took? Like, what the hell do you got to say that's substantial besides we got to take Trump down? Like, freaking, this dude sounds, his damn chin was moving when he was talking. It looks disgusting. It looks gross. Like, seriously, dude, I'm not even trying to be mean, but you need to lose some damn weight, big dog. Like, you're on TV. Everybody got to look at your ass. Like, it's time, okay? Like, worry about your health because we ain't, like, I already know you ain't, you worried about, it's talking about Donald Trump's age and Biden's age. Like, at least they look like they're in better shape than Christie. They probably last a little bit longer than your big ass. Because you probably ain't going to last as long as them with all the weight you got on you, bruh. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not even trying to be mean. I'm just being real. It is what it is. But Nikki Haley, man, I know you probably got a lot of sympathy vote, a lot of them identity politics votes, but you need to go ahead and sit this one out, big dog. You're not ready for the big dogs. You cannot. Nikki Haley looked like she was about to cry on the stage. Y'all can't tell me. I'm going to put her face up. You can't tell me she don't look like she not about to cry. She look like she's struggling to hold it in. We need somebody who, one, has the strength to handle being in tough spots like this, because I mean you're gonna be in tough spots as a presidential candidate and as president. And two, we need somebody who isn't such a liability in terms of corruption. I just cannot trust Nikki Haley. If it came down to Nikki Haley versus Joe Biden, honestly, even though Biden is so freaking horrible, and I'm sure Nikki Haley would love for things to go well in America, I feel like it's too much of a risk, too much of a war risk with Nikki Haley. It's too much of extended wars, like for another who knows how many years, indefinitely, because there's no point where somebody can say, oh, the war is going to stop at this point. Nobody effing knows, because anything else, any other variable could be introduced. So even if you make a plan and it looks foolproof, all of a sudden, some other country attacked this other country and some other stuff happened. So it's a new virus to come out. Now we got to worry about the new virus. Who knows what the hell's going to happen? So we can't trust all of this indefinite war stuff. Okay? Like, I don't mess with Nikki Haley. I'm glad that she had herself dusted, okay, by Vivek in a combination of one of the Infinity Stones that was Ron DeSantis. So, I mean, I know she's doing better than Vivek in the polls, but I don't really see how, because Vivek, like, murks her every time. Every time. Maybe that's helping her. Maybe people feel sorry for her. I don't know. But if it's up to me, in my opinion, my order is still this: Trump, Vivek, DeSantis. In that order, top three. So Trump 2024, Vivek 2028, DeSantis, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Anyway, guys, let me know what y'all think. If you enjoyed this video, thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate y'all watching Black Anomaly. Rising. I'm out.
Listen, this is rich, because when she was governor of South Carolina, she was the #1 ranked governor of bringing the CCP into her state. She wrote a love letter to the Chinese ambassador saying how great a friend China is. You can look at it. We put it on our website, rondesantis.com. There's also a video of her as governor standing in front of a Chinese flag with a Chinese business saying that she now works for them, talking about this Chinese company. So she's been very weak on China. Now, here's the problem. The rhetoric is different, but her donors, these Wall Street liberal donors, they make money in China. They are not going to let her be tough on China, and she will cave to the donors. She will not stand up for you.
Got him!